Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. We are from Group 3 and we will be presenting our assignment 2 on the analysis of tariff on electric vehicle in Malaysia. My name is Nurul Amira and I will start with the introduction. So as Malaysia moves toward becoming a regional hub for green technology and sustainable mobility, the government faced an important decision on whether tariff should be imposed, reduced or eliminated. While tariff can help protect the domestic industry such as Proton and Perdua, they may also lead to higher price and reduce customer welfare. Let's start with the economic justification for imposing tariff on EV imports in Malaysia. Okay, so the first one, the tariff on imported electrical vehicle in Malaysia can be justified using the infant industry argument. Malaysia's EV industry is still at a very early stage of development. The local companies such as Proton and Perdua are only beginning to enter the EV market, mainly through partnership, collaboration, and gradual technology adoption. However, they are competing against established foreign producers, especially from the country like China, who are already benefit from their advanced technology, their large-scale production, and also strong government support. So because of this, foreign EVs can be sold at such a much lower price than ours. So if tariffs are not imposed, this cheaper import could dominate the Malaysian market, and it would make it very difficult for the local firm to grow, to achieve like economic of scale, and to invest in their research and development. Hence why tariff act as a form of temporary protection here, giving the domestic firm the time and space they need to develop their capability and to compete in the international level. The second point is it can help protect employment and support economic growth. The automotive industry is a key contributor to the Malaysian economy. It accounts for about 4% of the country's GDP and support more than 700,000 jobs across manufacturing, supply chains, distributor, and after-sales services. When tariffs are imposed, the price of imported EVs increase. So as a result to that, consumers are more likely to choose the local product vehicle since they become more like affordable. So this shift in demand helps sustain the domestic production, which in turn protect existing job and can also create new employment opportunities within the EV sector. And then next, the second point, tariff can be justified based on the strategic industry argument. The EV industry is considered as a strategic sector because of its importance in driving innovative, supporting sustainability, and facilitating the transition to a low carbon economy. And in Malaysia, this is reflected in the government initiatives such as the National Automotive Policy 2020 and the Low Carbon Mobility Blueprint 2021 to 2030. So this policy aimed to transform Malaysia into a regional hub for EV manufacturing and green mobility technology. So by having tariff, the government can encourage the growth of domestic EV production and reduce the dependency on foreign technology. Next slide. Okay. Another important justification is the impact on Malaysia balance of payment. A high level of EV import can lead to a significant outflow of foreign currency, which may negatively affect the country trade balance. So by imposing tariff, import become more expensive, as I mentioned, which help to reduce the volume of imports EV at the same time encourage domestic production. So as a result, a more economic activity remain within our country, within Malaysia, helping to strengthen the country balance of payment and support local industry. And lastly, tariff can create a level playing field between domestic and foreign producers. And imported EVs are often cheaper, not because they are just more efficient, but because they benefit from subsidies and large-scale production from their home country, their own country. So the concept of scientific tariffs suggests that tariff can be used to raise the price of import to match domestic production costs. So by doing this, Malaysian manufacturers are giving a fair opportunity to compete in their own market instead of being pushed by the low price import. That's all for me. Thank you.
Slide before. Oh, okay. Right. Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nuri Izati binti Khairul Nazri. I will be presenting about the question C. The potential drawbacks of imposing tariff on EV import. So first of all, higher prices and reduced affordability. Firstly, tariff will increase the price of EVs in the domestic market, which directly affects consumer. When the government imposes a tariff, imported EVs become more expensive because additional tax is added to the original price. Since many EV brands in Malaysia are imported and currently dominate the market due to their affordability and advance, this price increase will significantly reduce accessibility for consumer. In Malaysia, EV adoption is still at an early stage with only 2.5% of total vehicle registration. This shows that the market is still developing and price plays a very much important role in influencing consumer decisions. Most Malaysia consumers, especially middle income groups, are very price sensitive. So when the price increase, many potential buyers may postpone their purchase or choose conventional petrol car instead. As a result, instead of encouraging EV adoption, tariff may actually slow down the transition toward electric vehicle, which is the opposite of what the government aims to achieve. So next is dead weight loss and market inefficiency. Tariff create inefficiency in the market, which is known as deadweight loss. In the free market, goods are produced and consumed at the most efficient level based on global prices. However, when tariffs are imposed, this balance is disrupted. On the consumer side, some individuals who were willing and able to purchase EVs at a lower world price are now priced out of the market. On the producer side, domestic firms increase production, but often at a higher cost compared to foreign producers. This means resources are being used inefficiently. There are two main inefficiencies here. Consumption inefficiency, where fewer EVs are purchased than the optimal level, and the production inefficiency, where higher cost domestic production replaces cheaper imports. These combined effects lead to a net loss of welfare in the economy, meaning the total benefits to society decreases. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so for the third point is misallocation of resources. Tariff lead to a misallocation of resources within the economy. When the government protects domestic EV producers through tariffs, it encourages more investment in that industry. Even if Malaysia does not have a strong comparative advantage in EV production, resources such as labor, capital, and technology are then shifted into this protected industry instead of being used in sectors where Malaysia is more efficient and competitive globally. For example, foreign EV manufacturers like BYD and Tesla benefit from economies of scale, better technology, and also more experience in production, allowing them to produce EVs at a lower cost. By diverting resources away from more productive sectors and into less efficient domestic industry, tariff reduce overall economic efficiency and slow down long-term economic growth. Next point is the slower industry growth. Okay, so tariff may slow down the growth of the EV industry in Malaysia. Currently, the EV market is experiencing strong growth due to government incentive and the availability of affordable imported vehicles. For example, EV sales have increased significantly over the past few years, showing that demand is rising rapidly. This growth is largely driven by competitive pricing and a wide variety of imported EV models. However, if tariffs are introduced, the increase in price will reduce the demand. When fewer consumers purchase the EVs, the overall market expansions will slow down. This is especially concerning because Malaysia is still in the early stages of developing its EV ecosystem. Slowing down growth at this stage may delay the country's ability to build a strong and sustainable EV industry in the future. That's all from me.
Okay, my name is Elisa, so I will continue next point, which is reduced trade and limited consumer choice. Tariff can reduce international trade and limit consumer choice. Like currently, Malaysian consumers enjoy a wide variety of electric vehicles from global manufacturers. These EVs come in different price range, features, and technologies, giving consumers more flexibility to choose based on their needs. However, when tariffs are imposed, imported EVs become more expensive. As a result, fewer foreign models enter the market. This reduces product variety and limit consumer options. In addition, the EV industry is highly technology driven. By restricting imports, Malaysia may also lose access to the latest global innovations such as better battery performance and advanced smart features. In the long run, this can slow down technological progress in the domestic market. So the next point is tariff can weaken competition and reduce innovation. In a competitive market, com- companies are pushed to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and innovate continuously. However, when tariffs protect local firms from foreign competitors, this pressure decreases. As a result, domestic producers may become less motivated to invest in research and development or improve product quality. Although Malaysia is developing its EV industry, including local companies like Proton, the industry is still in its early stage. It actually benefits from exposure to global competition. Without this competition, local firms may become less efficient and less competitive in the long term. So next point is tariff may lead to trade retaliation. According to international trade theory, when one country imposes tariff, other country may respond by impose tariff as well. For Malaysia, this is a serious issue because the country depends heavily on international trade. If other country impose tariff on Malaysian exports, it can negatively affect key industries such as manufacturing, electronics, and agriculture. This may lead to lower export earning, fewer job opportunities, and slower economic growth. So the impact of tariff is not limited to the EV sector, but can affect the entire economy. So the last point, tariff can hinder Malaysia's environmental goals. The government aims to increase EV adoption to reduce carbon emissions and promote green technology. However, tariff increase the price of EVs, making them less affordable for consumers. Even though infrastructure like charging station is improving, high vehicle prices remain a major barrier. If fewer people can afford EVs, adoption rate will slow down. As a result, Malaysia may struggle to achieve its sustainability targets and transition towards a low carbon economy. So that's all from me.
So, hi, madam. Sorry. Hi. Okay, my name is Wan Humaira Balkis binti Wan Ahmad Saifulizan. So, today I'll be discussing why Malaysia should adopt a phased tariff reduction policy on imported electric vehicles or EVs rather than maintaining high protection or removing tariff completely. This approach represents a balanced compromise between improving economic efficiency and allowing Malaysia's domestic industry time to adapt and become competitive in the EV sector. Okay, let me begin with the economic theory behind this issue. According to the theory of international trade, especially in a small open economy like Malaysia, tariff actually generally lead to welfare loss. When there are no tariff, EVs can be imported at the lower world price. This benefits consumer because they enjoy lower prices and also greater choice, which increases consumer surplus and also ensures an efficient allocation of resources. However, when tariffs are imposed, the domestic price of EVs rises. As a result, consumers buy fewer vehicles and also experience a loss in welfare welfare. Although domestic producers benefit from higher prices and the government gain tariff revenue. These gains are smaller than the losses faced by consumers. This also creates what economists call dead weight loss, meaning resources are not used efficiently. This suggests that in the long run, maintaining high tariff is economically inefficient. However, completely removing tariff immediately may not be the best solution either, because in Malaysia's currently EVs industry is still in early stage of development. Many local automotive firms are transitioning from producing conventional vehicles to EVs, but they may lack advanced technology, experience, and also economies of scale compared to established global manufacturers. So for the next part, I will pass to Nick Aina Shasha to continue. Thank you so much. So, alright, my name is Nana Shasha. So, I will continue the part, which is part D. So in this context, a temporary level of protection can be justified using the infant industry agreement. So, the agreement state that new industry may need short term for protection from international competition, so they can grow with the capabilities and become competitive over time. So by imposing moderate tariff in the short run, the government can give local firms space to invest in research and development, improve productivity, and develop expertise in EV production. However, this protection must be temporary and conditional. So, if tariff remain high for too long, domestic firm may become inefficient and dependent on government support rather than improving their competitive. And then the pace reduction strategy is important because of tariff should decrease over time with clear performance target for the domestic industry. And then we must consider Malaysia the being like international obligation, because of Malaysia is a member of the World Trade Organization, which is promote trade liberalization and declaration excessive protectionism. So maintains a high end tariff could lead to trade dispute or retaliation from other countries. So this could negatively affect Malaysia export sector and damage its international trade really. And by gradually reducing, Malaysia can align its policy with principle and maintain its reputation and cooperative trading partner. And then this policy also support Malaysia environmental goals, which is a lower tariff will reduce the price of important EV, making them more affordable to consumer. As more like people which switch from conventional vehicle to EV, and then contributing a cleaner environment. So at the same time, increase competition from foreigner EV manufacturer. That's being push local firms to innovate and improve the efficiency. And then finally, I will conclude overall. So Malaysia should adopt a pace reduction of tariff on imported EV. So this approach provide short-term protection to support the development of domestic industry while gradually moving toward greater trade opens in the long run. So the local firm have to grow, consumer benefit from lower price, and Malaysia remain aligned with international trade routes. So that's all from me. Thank you.
So I will now do a conclusion, a brief conclusion. Tariff on EV imports in Malaysia bring both benefits and drawbacks. They protect domestic industries, support jobs, and generate revenue, but also rise prices, reduce consumer welfare, and also slow EV adoption. While such protection can be justified under the infant industry argument, it should not be permanent, as long-term tariff may reduce competition and innovation. A phased tariff reduction is recommended to give local firms time to grow while improving market efficiency and access to affordable EVs in line with global trade principles. Balancing protection with openness will help Malaysia strengthen its domestic industry and accelerate its transition to a competitive and sustainable EV market. Okay, so that's all from us. Thank you so much.